They said I barked like a dog, so they made it come true. I still remember the cold steel bars pressing against my back, the sour stench of rust, and the echo of laughter ringing in my ears as the lock clicked shut. People talk about rock bottom like it's some metaphorical place, but I felt it on my knees inside that cage surrounded by classmates who pointed, laughed, and filmed. If you've never been seen as less than human, it's hard to explain the kind of hurt that leaves behind. My name is Haley. I'm 17. I used to think being quiet kept me safe, that if I didn't draw attention to myself, the mean girls at school would get bored and move on. I was wrong. It started months ago. Just small things, my locker mysteriously jammed. My backpack accidentally tossed in the mud. Snide comments whispered just loud enough to hear dog girl mutts like her should stay leashed. At first, I tried to laugh it off. Then I started skipping lunch just to avoid the cafeteria. Eventually, I avoided speaking altogether. That only made it worse. There were 3 of them, Avery, Brooke, and Tessa, cheerleaders, smiles like toothpaste ads, and hearts like stone. They had a pack mentality, feeding off each other's cruelty like it was a game. And somehow I became the prize. Last Friday, things escalated beyond what I thought possible. It was 6th period. I was heading to the art room, my only sanctuary, when Brooke called out, "Hey, Haley, you dropped something." I stupidly turned around. That's when Tessa grabbed me from behind. Before I could scream, Avery shoved something over my head, a thick, smelly blanket that smelled like a dog's bed. They dragged me into the gym's back storage room. I struggled, I screamed, it didn't matter. Sitting in the center of the room was an actual dog cage, the kind used for big breeds. I remember blinking at it in disbelief, thinking this is a joke, right? But Avery opened the cage door like she'd been planning this for weeks. I kicked. I fought. But 3 against 1. "Get in, mutt!" Brooke hissed, pushing my shoulder hard. "You love crawling around anyway." I ended up in the cage. They shoved the door shut and snapped the padlock with a theatrical click. And then the phones came out. "Smile, Haley," Tessa said sweetly. "Come on, bark like the freak you are." I wish I could say I didn't, that I kept my dignity. But fear does strange things. My voice cracked, and I whimpered. Not because I wanted to, but because I wanted it over. They howled with laughter. One of them even threw dog treats at me. That was the longest hour of my life, and it was only the beginning. The video hit Instagram before I was even let out. By the time Coach Warner found me, knees, bruised, cheeks streaked with silent tears, there were already comments piling up. The post was titled, "Found a Stray. Should we keep her?" And it showed me curled up in that cage, my arms wrapped around myself like a shivering puppy. My face, humiliated and scared, was frozen in mid-whimper. The captions were worse. "Someone give her a leash. Bet she pees on the carpet, too. OMG, she actually barked." Coach didn't even ask what happened. He just muttered, "You girls and your TikToks," and told me to go wash up. That was it. No report, no questions, just indifference. I didn't go back to class. I sat in the empty art room, scrubbing my arms like I could wash the whole thing off me. But the feeling clung to me, sticky, sour, permanent. I was no longer Haley. I was that girl in the cage, the freak who barked. And no one, not one person, stood up for me. Monday was worse. I could feel the stares before I walked through the school doors. Whispers trailed me down the hallway like smoke. A group of freshman boys made barking noises as I passed. One girl held out a dog biscuit and asked if I wanted a treat. I kept walking. Eyes down. Shoulders hunched. Invisible yet on display. At lunch, I sat in the far corner of the quad. I didn't eat. Just stared at the brick wall, counting the chipped spots, like they might distract me from the howls echoing across the tables. That's when Avery strutted past. She stopped in front of me, flanked by Brooke and Tessa, each of them sipping iced coffee, like they were in some fashion ad. "Aw, don't look so sad, puppy," Avery cooed mockingly. "You were adorable. We might make you our mascot." Tessa giggled. "Get her a collar," Brooke chimed in. "Nah, she bites, remember?" I said nothing. I didn't trust my voice not to crack. Avery leaned down just close enough for me to smell her coconut perfume. "You know what's funny?" she whispered. "People like you better when you're in cages." That night, I stared at the video again, hundreds of thousands of views now. It had been shared to TikTok, Twitter, even Reddit. My name was tagged, my face exposed. Every comment, every like, felt like another chain tightening around me. My mom asked why I wasn't eating. I told her I was just tired. I couldn't bear to see the pain on her face if she knew. Not yet. But something inside me had snapped. It wasn't rage. Not yet. It was silence. A deep, cold silence that settled into my bones like ice. And beneath that silence, something was growing. The silence grew louder the more people ignored me. Tuesday morning, I walked into homeroom and felt it immediately, the way conversations paused just long enough to remind me I wasn't part of them anymore. Even the kids who used to smile at me now avoided my eyes. Like humiliation was contagious. Like sitting near me might put their social lives at risk. I sat in the back, hands tucked under the desk to hide the shaking. No one asked if I was okay. No one even said hi. By third period, I was invisible. I thought maybe the teachers would notice. Someone would at least ask why a viral video of one of their students in a cage wasn't, a huge deal. But nothing. Mr. Keller called on me once by mistake, then quickly moved on when I didn't respond. Ms. Nguyen handed back an art assignment and said, "Nice work," without meeting my gaze. Even the adults had written me off. At lunch, I sat behind the maintenance shed. Alone. Again. That's when I realized something terrifying they had won. Not just the bullies, everyone. They saw me as the joke now. The broken thing in the corner. And no one saves the joke. I pulled my phone from my hoodie pocket, heart pounding. The video now had 378,000 views. Some girl I didn't even know had stitched the video with herself fake barking at the end. Others were adding voiceovers, memes, GIFs. I was a trend now. And then something inside me changed. Maybe it was the numbness finally cracking. Maybe it was the way I saw my own reflection in the black screen eyes, swollen hair, messy face hollow, and realized I didn't recognize her. The Haley I knew would have fought back. She would have screamed, cried, begged for justice. But that Haley was gone. I unlocked the Notes app and started typing. Step 1. Screenshot every comment from the original posters. Step 2. Save all reposts with their usernames. Step 3. Document time, location, and video metadata. Step 4. Find proof it happened at school. I spent the rest of lunch doing exactly that. After class, I accidentally left my sketchbook behind in Avery's math class. I had installed a tiny recording app in the spine earlier. I was done playing victim. If they wanted to make me their show, fine. But I was going to control the final act. That night, I messaged my cousin Leo. He was a digital forensics nerd, always ranting about IP traces and metadata. "Can you help me track the upload source of a video?" I asked. He didn't even ask why. Just said, "Send me the link." The next morning, I wasn't numb anymore. I was watching, listening, planning. I wasn't going to get justice by begging for it. I'd get it by becoming more cruel than they ever expected. The best revenge is the one they never see coming. By Friday, I had everything I needed. Timestamps, IP addresses, even audio recordings from Avery's own mouth, bragging about caging the mutt like it was some twisted prank show. Leo had traced the original video post to Avery's school Wi-Fi login. Every repost from Brooke and Tessa was linked to their school accounts too. Sloppy, arrogant, just like them. Now I needed a stage. It came in the form of the senior showcase assembly next Monday. Students could submit video projects, talent demos, or art presentations. I convinced Mr. Walters, the AV club supervisor, to let me submit a short film under the visual storytelling category. He smiled politely. "Great to see you taking initiative again, Haley." If only he knew. All weekend I edited. Not to manipulate, but to reveal. The final video started exactly how theirs did me. Curled in the cage, wide-eyed and silent. But I'd overlaid the footage with a slow heartbeat sound. Then came the side-by-side shots, the cage, the comments, the barking TikToks, the cheerleaders' mocking faces. Then I cut to their real voices, captured audio from my planted recorder. Avery. She looked like she belonged in there. Honestly, it was hilarious. Brooke, I thought she was gonna cry for her mommy. Tessa, wait until this hits Reddit, we'll be famous. And then, silence. Just their laughter echoing in blackness. The final frame, my voice. This is what it's like to be caged, but I won't bark anymore. You will. Fade to white. I submitted it Sunday night. By Monday morning, I couldn't feel my legs walking into school. But I didn't back down. I wore my hair up. Face bare, eyes steady. The auditorium filled slowly. Students whispered when they saw me sit in the front row. Avery and her crew sat 2 rows behind me, snickering. Tessa tossed a crumpled paper ball at my seat. I didn't flinch. Up next, the announcer said we have a visual short titled Caged by Haley Rivers. The lights dimmed, the screen lit up. Silence. Then the gasps started. First from the teachers, then from the students. When Avery's voice played, she looked like she belonged in there. The entire auditorium stiffened. Brooke's gasp behind me was audible. Tessa muttered, "What the hell?" By the end of the video, the room was frozen. No applause, no whispers, just stunned silence. Until Mr. Keller stood up. "We will take a brief pause," he said sharply. "Avery, Brooke, Tessa principal's office, now." They shuffled out, faces pale. No smirks now. As the lights rose, a few students glanced at me, not with mockery, but awe. One girl mouthed, "Thank you." For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. I hadn't barked, I hadn't begged. I'd turned the cage around. By the end of the day, everything had changed, but not in the way I expected. I wasn't showered in praise. There was no standing ovation in the hallways. Most people avoided me like I was a ticking bomb, unsure whether I was a hero or a threat. And honestly, that was fine by me. I didn't want applause. I wanted truth. The truth came quicker than expected. By second period Tuesday, the principal made an announcement over the loudspeaker. The students involved in the inappropriate and abusive video incident will be suspended indefinitely pending further investigation. We do not tolerate bullying in any form. I wasn't named, but I didn't need to be. I walked into class, and for once no one made a sound. Even the guys who used to mimic barking sounds just lowered their heads. A few of them even mumbled sorry when I passed. I didn't say anything back. I wasn't doing this for their apologies. But I did notice something. When I sat down at lunch, alone like always, a girl from my English class. Melissa walked up and asked, "Hey, can I sit here?" I blinked. Yeah, sure. She didn't mention this video. Didn't offer pity. She just sat beside me and opened her lunchbox like it was the most normal thing in the world. I nearly cried, but I held it together. That small act meant more than any teacher's speech ever could. Later that afternoon, Ms. Nguyen stopped me after class. "I saw your project," she said quietly. "You're incredibly brave." I stared at her, unsure whether to believe it. "Why didn't you say something before?" She hesitated. "Sometimes we don't see what we should, but I see now." I gave a stiff nod and walked away, heart pounding. I didn't forgive her, but maybe I could begin to understand. Everyone had been so quick to look away when I was the one in the cage. Now they were scrambling to make sense of it. And the girls. Avery's mom showed up that afternoon screaming in the front office, demanding the video be taken down. But it was too late. It had already been mirrored, shared, stitched with commentary about bullying power and teenage cruelty. People had opinions. Some said I went too far. Others said I didn't go far enough. But none of them mattered to me, because for the first time I was in control. I didn't need to become like them to win. I didn't need to break others just because I was broken. I only needed one thing, the truth, and I had screamed it without ever raising my voice. I walked past the dog cage in the gym storage room that day. Someone had wheeled it out into the hallway to discard. It sat there, door open, rust catching the sunlight. I looked at it, then I smiled. It was empty now, just like the fear I'd once let rule me. By Friday, the school had changed, but I had changed more. The cage was gone. The bullies were gone. The whispers had shifted into silence. No more barking sounds, no more mocking. Just eyes that watched me carefully like I was someone new, someone unpredictable, and I was. I wasn't the broken girl in the cage anymore. I wasn't Haley the freak. I was just Haley. And for the first time in months, I felt okay being that. Melissa kept sitting with me at lunch. She never asked about what happened, never pried. She just brought an extra juice box and sometimes offered to share her cookies. One day she leaned over and said, "They treated you like an animal. You showed them you were human. That matters." Her words stayed with me. At home, I told my mom everything. Every brutal, humiliating detail. She cried. Then she got angry. Then she hugged me like she never wanted to let go. I thought she might call the school or sue somebody, but instead she asked, "What do you want me to do?" I looked at her and said, "Nothing. Just be proud of me." And she nodded. "I already am." The school launched an anti-bullying campaign the next week, but to me it felt hollow. Posters and hashtags weren't what saved me. I saved me. With my own pain, my own voice, my own story. I didn't need the school to protect me anymore. Avery Brooke and Tessa tried to reach out eventually through burner accounts' anonymous messages. Tessa wrote, "Please take the video down. I'm sorry, we were just being stupid." I stared at her message for a long time before typing back one sentence. "You didn't think I was human until the world did." Then I blocked her. Some nights I still wake up sweating, heart racing from dreams of being back in that cage. But then I remind myself I got out. Not just physically, but emotionally. I started drawing again, real art. Not the sad little scribbles I'd done before. My latest piece, a girl crouched in a cage, but in the reflection of the bars, she's standing tall. Free. Unafraid. It's hanging on the wall in the art room now. Mr. Walters called it haunting and brave. Funny how pain turns into beauty when you survive it. And I did more than survive. I reclaimed my voice. I rebuilt my dignity. I took back my story from the people who tried to steal it. Now when I walk through the halls, no one dares look down on me. They can't. Because I'm not down there anymore. I'm standing tall, watching, strong, and if anyone ever tries to put another girl in a cage again, they'll find me waiting at the door with the key. Sometimes the people who hurt you don't want to see you as human because it makes it easier to mock, to shame, to destroy. But your worth is not defined by their laughter or your lowest moment. If you ever feel like you're trapped, silenced, or caged, know this: cages don't last. And neither does cruelty. What lasts is the strength you build climbing out. What lasts is the courage to speak when others stay silent. You don't have to become cruel to get justice, but you do have to be brave. Brave enough to own your pain, to tell your truth, and to rise even when they want you broken. I was mocked, humiliated, and dehumanized. But I used their own weapon visibility to take back control. Don't be afraid to do the same. You are more than what they say. You are more than what they did. You are free.